As the sun began to set, the sky turned a blood-red hue, creating a chilling atmosphere. Rena, had just returned from school, and it was almost dusk. My mom always warned me not to go outside during Maghrib, the time of day when the Wewe Gombel, a ghostly woman, was said to kidnap children. That evening, as I walked through a dimly lit alley near my house, a cold breeze swept over me. I felt something strange, like I was being watched from the shadows. I quickened my pace, but the atmosphere felt increasingly oppressive. Suddenly, I heard a raspy voice behind me. I turned and saw a shadowy figure dart past. My heart raced as I ran towards home with fear gripping me. The next day, I told my mom about the previous night's encounter. She looked extremely worried and reminded me once again to be cautious. That night, as the Maghrib call to prayer sounded, my anxiety increased. Every time I heard a wind rustle or a creak from outside, I felt as though something was watching me. Suddenly, I heard footsteps on the porch. I peered out the window and saw a woman in a white dress standing outside. Her face was pale, and her eyes seemed to pierce through the darkness of the night. I was overwhelmed with fear and tried to pray that the ghost wouldn't notice me. The sound of footsteps grew closer, making my heart pound. After that night, I couldn't sleep well. I was constantly awake, hearing strange noises and feeling an eerie atmosphere around me. The next day, I decided to dig deeper into the legend of Wewe Gombel. I researched online and spoke with older neighbors. They all told the same story. Wewe Gombel was a woman killed by her husband for not being able to bear children. As night fell and the Maghrib call to prayer began, I was on high alert. I sat by the window, trying to stay calm. But every time the wind blew, I felt like something was watching me from outside. I couldn't sleep, remaining vigilant against every noise and movement. The following nights were increasingly tense. I would hear strange sounds that kept me awake. When dusk arrived, I saw the woman in white again, now closer and clearer than before. She started moving closer, heightening my fear. It felt like the ghost was monitoring my every move. I tried to find a safe place in the house, but the sounds of footsteps and unexplained knocks seemed to get closer. It felt as though the ghost was actually inside the house, surrounding me with malevolent intent. By morning, I was exhausted and unsure how to cope with my fear. After several nights of terror, I began to realize that Wewe Gombel was not just a source of fear but also an important reminder to always be vigilant and safe. My mom continued to remind me not to go outside during Maghrib, and I came to appreciate her advice more than ever. Whenever Maghrib came, I sat by the window carefully, praying for no more frightening encounters. I understood that the legend of Wewe Gombel was a warning to ensure our safety and care for one another. Although the fear lingered, I felt stronger and more prepared to face whatever came my way. One night, after weeks of intense anxiety, I felt a shift in the atmosphere. I no longer saw or sensed the presence of Wewe Gombel. Dusk felt more peaceful, and I began to feel safe again. Although traces of fear remained, I knew that I had learned much from this experience. When dusk arrived, I sat by the window with gratitude. I realized Despite the terrifying legend of Wewe Gombel, it also taught me the importance of safety and caring for those around us. With newfound resolve, I felt ready to face the future and protect myself better.